pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to films I should have talked about years ago. So, yesterday I've talked a bit about Rush Hour from 1998, but now it's time to get on to the sequels, starting with Rush Hour 2. Yeah. This was released in August 2001 as the sequel to the famous buddy action film itself that starred Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. But instead of Inspector Lee's kid being kidnapped, the plot around this film, in comparison, is simply put about a pretty nasty level of bombings that happens inside of the American Embassy in Hong Kong, China. Both Tucker and Chan reprise their roles in this film, and being that it takes place not too long after, it's almost a bit of a fresh start, for the most part. A nice, natural, slow, steady continuation of the first film. But in addition to having some different things to laugh about, including this one point where some more Michael Jackson music pops up, and Chan and Lee are both at a par, and then of course we can't forget the fact that, well, I mean, do I really have to talk about that moment in the film? Wow. I really gotta say, a lot of films are really driving me bats, but this is the kind of film that can really drive anybody bats in more or less a good way. Its obnoxious nature combined with its somewhat bland prospect does not necessarily happen to blend in pretty well. It did, of course, rate among average level ratings with a 52% on Rotten Tomatoes, 48% on Metacritic, 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb, and in terms of giving this a score, well, I almost forgot to give the first one a score, so I might as well go ahead and do that real quickly. Rush Hour 1 certainly did deserve a 7.1 out of 10. But this film entirely, I have to talk about a couple things holding right here, because it did perform really well in the box office at the time, earning nearly 4 times its budget. And of course with the usage of Roger Birnbaum and Salon Films, and with the score composed by Lalo Schifrin. Hopefully I pronounced that right. And then of course with the usage of Cantonese and Mandarin also being applied as the primary dub/subs that would appear in the films, especially if you got a DVD copy of it, then well, that's pretty much what else I could possibly identify about this one. I was able to explain the first Rush Hour film pretty well, but the details, of course, that I've said are fresh in my mind don't seem as fresh nowadays. And that's probably because I've been distracted with plenty of other things. But still, you know what? Director Brett Ratner still did have quite a bit of fun producing this, maybe from what I could tell. But aside from the directing, producing, screenplaying, and all that good stuff, you basically have not only Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, but also Rosalind Sanchez, Zhang Ziyi, and John Lone. But of course, we also can't forget the ending of this film. In comparison to the first film, where, well, the kid is returned safely, and many of the other things have been averted from a possible crisis that could have possibly wiped out so many lives, then also we cannot forget that, well, eventually, both Detective Carter and Inspector Lee do, in fact, get to the point where the case is solved and the mastermind behind the original bombings, plus many other things out there, is safely put away for good. Yeah, not too much to continue on there, right? So anyways, well, that's probably all I got to talk about right now. So, I could probably give Rush Hour 3 another watch. And for tomorrow's review, expect Rush Hour 3 to be reviewed by me. So, I will see y'all around then, I guess.